Welcome to our final story hour today, or actually our story time for the summer reading program. Imagine your story. Well, we went on a lot of adventures this summer. We had the bubble monster, we had the puppet show, we had all kinds of different stories and crafts and activities. We're going to recap some of those things, but today I'd like to share with you a final story that I'm going to share, and I have something else I want to share with you as well. This story is the wrap up for Imagine Your Story called The Storybook Night. Even dragons love a good story. Leo was a gentle knight in thought and word and deed, while other knights liked fighting, Leo liked to sit and read. He was kind to every creature. He wouldn't hurt a fly. When Mom and Dad said, "Knights must fight," he couldn't quite see why. One morning, Leo's parents said they'd like to have a chat. There was nothing wrong with reading, but he couldn't just do that. They'd seen an ad that morning in their favorite magazine. A dragon needed taming. Leo wasn't very keen. "Nonsense, you'll enjoy it. It'll stop you getting bored. In case the dragon's scary, here's a brand new shield and sword." Leo packed some sandwiches and lots of books, of course. Then, with a sigh, he saddled up on Ned, his faithful horse. He hadn't traveled far through the sun and rising high, then suddenly a fearsome creature swooped down from the sky. It had the lion's body, but it had an eagle's wings. "A griffin," marveled Leo, who had read about such things. "Come on," snarled the griffin. "I dare you to a fight." "I'd rather not," said Leo. "It wouldn't be quite right. I've got a brand new sword with me, so I'd be bound to win it. But how about a story with some pictures of you in it?" "Yes, please," the griffin nodded. He was really rather vain. So Leo read a book to him once, twice, and then again. "It's yours to keep," said Leo as he clambered back on Ned. "Oh, thank you," cried the griffin as he bowed his noble head. Leo rode for hours. The heat, it was quite extreme. Then stopped to have his picnic by a welcome mountain stream. "Who dares to trespass on my bridge?" inquired a hungry troll. "Oh, it's only me," said Leo. "Would you like to share my roll?" The troll just laughed. "Ha ha ha, no thanks," he growled. "I think I'll just eat you." But Leo said, "My armor's pretty difficult to chew." "I've got a brilliant book, though. If you'll hang on just a minute, it's full of juicy goats, and look, it's even got you in it." Well, that sounds good," the troll replied. His hunger put on hold, and so Leo read the story with some changes, truth be told. "It's yours to keep," Leo, as he clambered back on Ned. "Oh, thank you," cried the grateful troll, and he bowed his heavy head. Leo kept on riding through that long, hot afternoon. At last he came upon a town as empty as the moon. The leaves were burnt in every tree, the grass and flowers too. He had seen some messy streets before, but this was something new. Faces peered from windows, folks too scared to go outside. He trotted bravely onward. "Hey, watch out," the people cried. What he saw around the corner set him shaking in his shoes. The most enormous dragon who'd just woken from a snooze. The dragon raised his eyebrows. "Not another pesky knight." "Don't worry," Leo told him. "I haven't come to fight. I've got the most amazing book with loads of dragons in it. But it's going in the trash unless you clean up right this minute." "Oh, don't do that," the dragon cried. "I'll clean up right now. But I'm really bad at tidying. Perhaps you could show me how?" So Leo taught the dragon how to shovel, scoop, and clear, and one by one, the townsfolk all began to lose their fear. "Now can I have my story?" begged the dragon on his knees. So Leo read the book 6 times. A dragon's hard to please. "It's yours to keep," said Leo, and he clambered back on Ned. "Oh, thank you," cried the dragon, and he bowed his scaly head. When Leo reached his home at last, the cheers were loud and long and loud. His parents hugged him very tight. "Well done, you made us proud." Now Leo is a hero, his parents have agreed. He doesn't have to fight at all. He's left in peace to read. Isn't that a fun story? It had some interesting characters that we talk about in mythology and fantasy stories, including the griffin and the troll and the dragon. But that's a neat little book to wrap up for summer reading. But before I do wrap up for summer reading, we're going to talk about the things that we did this summer. One of the things was a challenge to write a story. And I have a story here from Sarah Anderson, and I would like to share her story with you. It's called The Secret Panel. Mr. and Mrs. Cornelius live in a big stone mansion at the end of the street. Whenever it's rainy, I take my umbrella and visit them because they have the most beautiful library. They have stained glass windows and miles of books. They have tiny books the size of a songbird. They have huge books the size of me. Some of the books have old maps, and some of the books have fairy tales from all over the world printed in gold ink. One day, I pulled the book from the shelf and I sat in the big velvet chair with a plate of Mrs. Cornelius's cookies. But something extraordinary happened last week. I pulled the book from the top shelf, a secret panel swung open, and then a giant forest was in the panel. I crawled through the cubbyhole, and it was beautiful. I went to go back and tell Mr. and Mrs. Cornelius, but then the secret panel shut. I didn't know what to do, so I set to work trying to open the panel. All of a sudden, a tiny fairy came out of the bushes, asked if I needed help, so I asked her to help me open the panel. After she helped me open the panel, she wanted me to stay and look around. I said no because I had to tell Mr. and Mrs. Cornelius about this, but the fairy told me to never tell anyone about the secret panel. I was a little bit sad. I couldn't tell anyone about it. She asked me if I could come back. I told her I'll try, but I really did want to come back and explore the forest and see all the sights. Once I crawled out of the panel, Mr. and Mrs. Cornelius were really worried about me. I didn't mean to worry them. I didn't think I was gone for that long. I looked at the time. It was dinner time already. I grabbed my umbrella and I raced out the door before I got in trouble. I can't wait for what's next at Mr. and Mrs. Cornelius's library. The end. And that was submitted by Sarah Anderson. Sounds like a really interesting story that's going to have some more chapters in it. It's called The Secret Panel. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing that with us. Now, you had some challenges this summer, too. Let's talk about some of those challenges. There was the dragon hunt. Did you find all 5 dragons in your downtown area? Well, here are the clues and the answers. For the Fairmont Library, the main library, number 1 was Red Dragon, and it was at the main library. Number 2 was Blue Dragon, and it's at the Chamber of Commerce. Number 3 is a Purple Dragon, is at the Eye Candy Beauty Supply. Number 4 is an Orange Dragon at Adam's Office Supplies. Number 5 was a Green Dragon at Law Office of Christopher Wilson. And the princess to be rescued was at the Joe and Throw. And the hidden treasure chest was at Arts and Antiques Marketplace. In Mannington, the Red Dragon was at Something Special. The Blue Dragon was at Mannington Public Library. The third dragon was purple at Mountaineer Florist. The fourth dragon was orange at Mario's. The fifth was green at Miller's Hardware. And the princess was hidden at the T&L Hot Dog and the treasure chest at Baby B's. Fairview, the dragons were hidden in one. Red dragon was at Hometown Hot Dogs. The blue dragon was at the First Exchange Bank. The purple dragon at Haircut Plus. Orange dragon was Little Dipper's Ice Cream Parlor. And the green dragon was at the library. And I believe that the treasure chest and the princess were both at the library too. So if you haven't found them yet, those are where you could find the hidden dragons. And at the end of this week, they will be coming down. So if you want to kind of get a good look this week, you can still check around and see if you can find them. We also had several other things. There are several crafts still going on. If you would like to pick up your pyramid, you can still make your pyramid and tell your story by decorating it with pictures about you, things that you like, drawings, stickers, anything you want to put on it to make your pyramid. You may call your local library and tell them you'd like to pick one up, and you can pick it up. But right now, we have another challenge, and that challenge was that every time you watched a program, there was a letter, and you tried to unscramble those letters to make a word. Let's go check out those letters and words and see if we can unscramble that. Week 1, which was the introduction, that was I. Week 2 was E. Week 3, M. Week 4, I. Week 5, A. Week 6, G. Week 7, N. Now all these letters, if we unscramble them, will make a magical word. So let's start by taking off week 2 and moving week 3 down. I, N. And maybe we'll take the A and we'll move this one down. And we'll rearrange this letter. And I'll move the N down. And there is your magical word, imagine. If you didn't get it already, you can go ahead and use that, type that in, and get your final badge. But I want to say thank you so much for joining this summer reading program. We know it was very different. It was different for us, and it was different for you to be watching at home. But we hope to see you real soon. So have a great rest of the summer, and we'll see you later.